So your seedlings have popped up and you're anxious to go ahead and start feeding them. I know I am too, so I am setting mine up because I have a tray of seedlings that have all popped up, and it's time for me to give them a little bit of nutrients. What you see in front of you is 3 different gallons of water, or just 3 gallons of water. It doesn't matter if you use distilled or drinking water or whatever you want to use, or you can just go use tap water. I wanted to get, some people use leftover milk gallons, and I didn't like the way it smelled, and I didn't want to wash it out like 17 billion and a half times in order to get it, so there's nothing of that milk stuff left in it. So I just went and bought 3 gallons of water for like, $3. And I'm going to use these, and I'll continue to fill it up with like tap water while I go. This method is not my own method. I got this from Greg, or Pick One at THP. So, hey Greg, thank you. And I just kind of adapted it to whatever type of fertilizer I'm using, and you guys can do the same thing at home with whatever you decide to use. I apologize if it's a little bit tough to hear me. I'm in the garage, and it's 7 o'clock at night. I was supposed to do this earlier, but I washed my car like for 14 and a half hours earlier. Anyways, what you need is a couple of basic items you can find anywhere. You probably have in the house, but specifically with the measuring spoons, I don't think you want to use your wife's baking measuring spoons because you're going to pour fertilizer in there. So your waffles or your cupcakes may taste a bit funky. But you need measuring spoons, you need some sort of vessels or water holding devices. I have got a couple of funnels. You do not need these, but it may be helpful for you if you pick a couple of these up, like $1 a piece at any Lowe's or Home Depot. And it'll help because when you're pouring into these, sometimes it's tough to get it directly in there. And labels, a marker, a shot glass, you'll see in a minute, and booze. This is a necessary portion of this because without booze we don't do anything properly, right? Anyways, so we're moving on. I have 3 different types of fertilizer today. I have the PHC, which is plant health care. Seedlings and houseplants is a 6-12-6 NPK ratio. Super Hot from THP recommended I try this out. This is what he used last season, so I'm going to give this a shot. I am also going to supplement with some CalMag from Botanicare. I think anybody who grows pot knows about this, and anybody who's done a little bit of research on calcium additives, CalMag is definitely the way to go. And finally, I have Neptune's Harvest Organic Seaweed Plant Food. This is 001. It's a very basic, non-abrasive organic fertilizer that you can literally just spray all of your plants and it doesn't have an issue. But I'm going to go ahead and mix like they recommend here, and I'm going to use that with my regular watering regimen. So we'll go ahead and get started. I will start with the PHC. So what you want to do is you want to look at the directions and see what they recommend. So in this one, you want to mix 1 scoop with a gallon of warm water. This has not been opened yet, so I'm going to go ahead and pop this open. They give you a little scoop, and they have it's in a bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the bag up and hopefully it's going to get everywhere. Okay, easy enough. Bag is open. It's almost like chocolate powder. I don't know if you see that. And what you want to do is, because we're watering and mixing fertilizer for seedlings, you don't want to use the full recommended allowance. You can go with a half or a third. So in my case, I'm going to go with a half, and I'm going to go ahead and get my funnel. I poured a little bit of water off the top of this just because it'll make it easier for me to stick the funnel in, and it's not dealing with that, hey, it's filled to the top and you can't fit anything else in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get about a half a scoop. And I'd recommend, like, hey, I know you're trying to get, okay, is that exactly a half? I'd recommend going a half or below, just to be on the safe side, especially if it's like early in your fertilizing phase. It's like the first time you're mixing it and you just had it. So I'd say that's about a half, no, it's actually 1 tablespoon scoop, so I could use a half tablespoon or 1.5 teaspoons if you're going to do the conversion. So I have it. I'm going to go ahead and pour it in. Close this up. And I'm good for this one. I'll take this here, hold the top, and go ahead and shake it. And it will dissolve and work its way in. I have the Botanicare, which says to mix 1 teaspoon per gallon of water. So I have a gallon of water here, and we're going to go ahead and use the 1/2 teaspoon. This just makes it easier. I don't like the powder in that, so I'm going to use a different one. Fun. It smells normal, or like normal fertilizer, I guess. It's nothing too bad. Be careful because this thing's gonna come out. Okay, there you go. Pull it back in just because it kind of spilled that over, so that one's good. We're gonna go ahead and cap this, shake it up a little bit, and we're gonna move to our last one, which is our seaweed, and this is pour 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. So what did I say? 1.5 teaspoons, because 3 teaspoons is 1 tablespoon. So we're gonna work this one in. Oh, that one smells terrible. This is actually really good too if you have if you're trying to develop your lawn. If you're trying to, if you just seeded your lawn, you can get a sprayer that you dial in whatever dilution you need, and it'll go ahead and do that very well for your lawn. You can just spray it right on there every time you water your lawn, and it actually kickstarts it a lot. But the animals love it as well, so if you don't have a fenced-in yard, I would recommend putting something up around your garden, because this thing kind of smells a bit funky, the deer and animals like it. Okay, so now we have our fertilizer set up in the right ratio. And what do? We add it to our water. All right, pick this up at Lowe's for $12. It is a Roundup weed sprayer, but I find this extremely useful for me in order to water my seedling flats and not get it everywhere. So go ahead and pull this out. And now let's work in the shot glass. This is from Greg. He said he uses about a shot glass of this, of each into his watering. And this is a gallon of water as well. So I'm going to go ahead and pour 1 shot of each of these fertilizers into my master watering apparatus. That's like that word, I do. And then this is going to give those seedlings just enough nutrients to kind of get started without overpowering it. And all these, or at least the seaweed and the cow mag, they're very non-abrasive. So you could follow your feed with either of those. I wouldn't really recommend the follow your feeding with the PHC just because it's got a high NPK ratio, which has a little bit of a chance of burning. A little bit of fertilizer burn. So aside from that, I would go ahead and stick with the just the 2. Once you set this up, you can 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, however way you want to do it. Shake it up a little bit, and now you are ready to go ahead and water your plants. And lastly, before you start forgetting and okay, which one is which, go ahead and mark your jugs with the type of fertilizer that is in each jug. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Neptune's Harvest, and we have the PHC, and then we finally have the cow mag. And then you just go ahead and take your labels, which I have found extremely useful in all sorts of growing applications. I've used them on the cups, I've used them on my seedling trays, and it just makes things a lot easier to keep track of. And now you are ready to go. So hey, thanks for watching. I'll shoot another video, kind of an update pretty soon, but like I said, it's really, really easy. I can't take all the credit. This is mostly Greg's and some of the other guys that I've seen how they adapt to. But this is a good way for you to start feeding your seedlings early to kind of boost them up and give them a nice, strong set of nutrients and get them ready before so you can plant out come early spring. So hey, thanks for watching. Appreciate it.